Well, hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up. But today it's Ladies and Gents Listen Up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. We have a favorite returning with us today. And so, Mr. Rufus Carpenter, sir, how are you today?
Good morning, Dr. Liz. I'm doing very well today. Hey, first I
Good.
want to tell you thanks for having me back. Because I've become a fan of your work and your podcast. I truly got to tell you, you are doing amazing, amazing. I'm hooked. That especially that grandmother's cookie jar, you got me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we do. We have grandma's cookie jar sitting right here, just in case we need to grab some stuff out of grandma's cookie jar. But like I said before, you wouldn't fit in the cookie jar, so your wisdom gonna have to come from you. It can't come from the cookie jar today.
Okay, no problem.
So we appreciate you taking time out of your valuable time out of your schedule to come back and drop some wisdom on us. So today we're going to talk about a couple of topics. We're going to talk about money and relationships, because money plays a key important role in relationships. They talk about, how many, marriages end in divorce because of what finances is one of the biggest issues. So we want to just kind of dig in your pool of wisdom and help us understand what is this thing, relationships and money. What does that mean to you?
Now you said a couple. What was the other one? So let's see how they both fit. What was the other topic you wanted to ask?
Well, the other thing that we're going to talk about is how we transition from working, in corporate America to working into, entrepreneurship. That's a huge thing. And that plays a big role in relationships as well, because you really have to have a partner that's on the same page with you, right?
Good, you're right. All right, let's tackle them together. Let's do the second one first. And the reason why we do the second one first, because if you ain't making no money, ain't no honey. let's make sure we understand that.
No money, no honey.
So let's deal with that one first. But
All
now
right.
I gotta confess. I said I wasn't gonna say this, but hey, I gotta tell you, I didn't realize your audience was so wide. One of my students listened to your podcast, and she had my other students to kind of listen to. I got critiqued.
Did you?
Yeah. I thought I was hanging out with Dr. Liz, and I was on display.
Oh my goodness.
Let me do what I teach. First, let me tell you, hey,
Okay.
we're going to talk about maybe 3 to 5 things today, and let me give you the takeaways from the very beginning. So that way, if I don't get to them, if I cut up and don't get to them, they'll already know them. The first thing, when you're coming from corporate, going into your entrepreneurship, the first thing out of the gate is you have to make sure the choice is right for you and your family and your honey, so you can make some money. Make sure that choice is right. And when I say choice is right, you've got to make sure that you're doing it with some sense about it. If you've spent 10, 20, 15 years or more in corporate doing marketing, don't come out and open a ditch digging company.
Ooh, that's so good. Ooh, that's rich. Yes.
Because it don't match.
Yes.
And if you're using medical brain surgery, don't come out and be a plumber.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes, that's good.
Try to get into that. First decision is, if you're going to come out of corporate going into entrepreneurship, pick a career or industry or a profession that matches the profession and what you did in corporate life. Your chance of success will be a lot easier, and the transition a lot easier, and you make more money. So you get more honey. Okay.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
The second one, when you being in the corporate world, it's easy to get along. In corporate world, follow the company's culture, follow the instructions, because corporate needs you to be successful. So they're going to put all the tools and processes in place to make you be successful, help you be successful. When I was in the corporate, I made it up to some of the higher levels. I was senior vice president with one company. And what we realized, that for us to be successful hiring an employee, each employee we hired, we have to net a profit of $300 for each dollar we invested in this employee. So if this employee didn't make us $300 on their $1 labor, then we had to change that employee out. And that's corporate life. Now, if you become an entrepreneur, you have to, every dollar you invest, you've got to get similar returns out of that dollar, or you're going to go out of business. So once again, no money, no honey. So you have to realize something, that as an entrepreneur, you decide your procedures and your policies and your business model, who you're serving and what you're going to serve them with, what problem you're solving. You have to have that in order. You have to first decide what problem you're going to solve, who you're going to solve it for, how you're going to get it to them, what's going to be your framework for delivering that product or service. Because if you get that right, then you get it. And then as an entrepreneur, if you don't have those processes and procedures in place, you have to get some mentorship, or you got to get some self-education pretty fast. Absolutely. You don't have a long runway to get smart.
That ties into your first one, going into something that you are, like you're using your 9 to 5 to educate yourself and see the processes and systems and procedures. We do that in our business right now. When we help our investors, we teach them how to use processes, proven processes, systems, processes, and procedures. And I'm telling you, they are getting as much success, but I say it's an adult game of follow the leader. And like you said, you can't follow the leader if you're like ingrained in one thing, and then you come out and say, I want to be a ballet dancer and have never danced a day in your life. So those two tie in together. You are teaching, sir. Keep going.
Yeah, because remember Black TV when we were young? And I hate to say I hate to age me and you, but Black TV when we were young, Amos and Andy, and always had a new idea that they was going after. They was chasing something new, and the show would start with the hero's journey is that they would chase something new, and sometimes it pan out, but majority of the time it didn't pan out.
Right.
That's the same with entrepreneurship. You can't be all over the place.
That's so true.
You have to make sure if you chase the rabbit you want to catch. Because if you chase 2 rabbits, you get none.
Yes. And I'm a visual person. So what I see in that when I talk to entrepreneurs and they say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And oftentimes when you talk to them, their elevator pitch is like they're throwing up on you because they're giving you everything that they're doing. And so my visual is, wait, if you're on a racetrack and you're going this way, and you have to choose, because you can only go this way or this way. And that puts it visually for me. One of my brothers told me this a long time ago, because I was that entrepreneur that I was chasing the next gold thing, the shiny object. Oh, wait a minute, here's this. And until I, got in my lane and really understood it. But, that comes with professional and personal development, because you don't really know. It's like all of these things, and you don't know what it is that your purpose to do. But when you find it, I'm telling you, your whole world changes.
Yes,
things start coming into place.
Yes, it does.
Amazing.
Make sure I'm sticking to my schedule here. I'm making my topic so I won't get a bad grade for my students.
And hey to your students, and thank you all for watching and supporting and critiquing. We're gonna have you on the show. How about that? We're gonna invite some of your students back. How about that?
Yes. Awesome, because one of my students right now, and I'll get back to the program a bit. One of my students right now is working on a program that's near and dear to you. So you have a passion. She's working on a program of domestic violence and relationships. As a matter of fact, she's working, and her name of her program is going to call Reset to Healthier Relationships. And she's trying her best to get it out before Black Friday. And it talks about some of the things that causes bad relationships or what causes failed marriages. And one of them is finance. Because if you have one of the partners decide that they want to control the money and they make decisions on themselves about dumb stuff. Because I remember when I was young, when I first got married, back in my days when I was married, I wanted to buy rims for my car.
Okay.
My wife wanted to buy Pampers and baby food.
Wow. Who would think? Who would think that a baby needs diapers, right?
Yeah. My car needs some brand new rims.
Your baby needed rims, right?
My baby was my car at the time.
I know, right?
But those are the things that create problems, because if you're not, as a union, doing the right things with your dollars and your money, and when you first start out, you don't have all the money. You're doing it as you can. You live from paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, right.
So that financial piece is huge in the marriage. As a matter of fact, even if you're older and have a great deal of money, it's worse, because a lot of times when you have a great deal of money, you kind of manage it a lot closer than you do when you don't have no money. So the decisions get to be more compound. Do we buy crypto? Do we invest in the markets? Do we go on cruises? It's
yeah. But what you're saying, this is the thing too. In relationships, being on the same page is so important, because I teach asset diversification. So in asset diversification, if you're on the same page, and a couple of podcasts ago, I talked about the different accounts and how you're on the same page with the accounts, but you also give each other individuality. So I don't have to check with you if we both put, like we both have a certain amount that goes to our own personal accounts. Now we can do what we want with that money, but we respect the joint account, and we respect the joint decisions on those accounts. So it still allows us to be on the same page, but it also allows us not to have to sneak in, shoes and sneak in saws or rims in your case. You know what I'm saying? So it keeps the relationship honest. It keeps it honest. So I think that's important. And going back to your student with the domestic violence, love to connect with her, because that's definitely one of our charges. The book, The Daddy Daughter Dynamic, that was just released. We did hit number one new release for on Amazon. We did hit number one.
Go ahead.
Yes, and we hit number 2 bestseller. We're still pushing for number 1, but number 2 bestseller in 2 categories. So it's amazing to do that. But in that book, we talk about those broken relationships, and you said what you just said with her, as far as having good relationships, and where does those bad relationships stem from? They go all the way to our relationships with our daddy.
Yes, because see, that mentor, that is head of the household. It's kind of different for a lot of people when you don't grow up with your dad in the house, or you don't have that influence. Because in my world, there's a lot of single moms that's doing the job of the dad and the mom at the same time, and they're working to try to raise kids, and it makes it kind of hard. So it's good when people like yourself come on with the podcast and give that knowledge. Because back to, again, when you say a lot of relationships have trouble or struggle because of their finances, and when you made the reference about the side accounts, you do what you want, and the middle account where you do as a family, as a corporate type thing with your family,
right?
The only piece that I need to know, or that, how do I say this, that bothers me a little bit, is you still got to have the knowledge. Because a lot of times one person might take the lead and say, here's what I'm doing. And the other one, dude, are they forced to go along, or are you educating them so they're making a decision with you? They're not sitting back, well, he's doing it or she's doing it, whatever they did. Because when it goes wrong, because everything has a risk. Everything has a risk. So when that don't go right and it go left, are you going to look at your spouse and say, well, you made that decision?
And that's what I think that's where that healthy relationship comes into effect. Again, I no secret, I've been married twice, and I understand that we did not like come together to understand if we were, like, I say, evenly paired or evenly yoked, or if we really got to know each other and what was important for each other in our future. And like you said, definitely with that one account, you're deciding, okay, what are we going to do with this, and how are we going to do this, and really being able to have a healthy disagreement, and be able to tell each other why. So if you're on the same page and the goal is not to be right, but for the relationship to be whole and to be healthy and for you both to succeed, that's where I always had the issue with in my marriages was competition. And I didn't want to be in competition with my mate. I wanted us to be on the same page. So, hey, if you cook better than I did cook, if I do finances better than I do finances, now we got good food and good money. That was my thing, right? But when I was married, I would bring it to the table to say, you know, hey, back then I was in real estate. And I said, you know what? Every time I sell a house, at that time, you can't do it anymore, but we could refer an inspector. And I would say, look, I'm sending this money to somebody else's house. This inspector's getting $300, $400, $500 for a couple hours of work. You're already in this field. If you were to go and get your license, then all you would have to do, you could be my inspector for all these deals. And he said, nope, you're trying to wear the pants. I'm not doing it. And it was just because it was my idea. And so that's how I say you know, you have to be on the same page and understand how each other think and think, okay, this may not be the best person for me. Not that there's anything wrong with the person. It just might not be the best person for me, or I might not be the best person for you. So relationships and money, I mean, I think that's like the foundation. You have to be on the same page, and it can't be about me by me. It has to be about us as a whole.
Correct.
And that's how I think, that's one of the things I think that's, you know, that's missing when people come together. They don't have those hard conversations. You know, we're thinking physical from the jump. We're not thinking, you know, long term, you know. So
Let me share something that helped me, that got me straight, because I was like your husband in that scenario, and my wife was like you in that scenario. Because my wife was grounded. My wife was 5 years older than me, so she was more grounded. I was still maturing during the time frame, so I didn't catch up until maybe later down the road a little bit. But now going from corporate to entrepreneurship, where every decision I make has consequences, has teeth. I'm going to get a reward, and that reward is going to be a great reward or a bad reward. So I've learned, here's a system I use right now, and it's a success mindset. When I do something, I realize that I have potential inside of me. And if I've done the training, the learning, and all that, potential is there. Then I know I have to take massive action to make it work. But to get results, that massive action has to make it work. But the problem is the massive action and the results start in my head with belief and certainty.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing about the relationships. If you don't believe in your head that this person is the right person for you, you will always look for faults. You become a fault finder instead of supporter. And the same thing in business. If I think something's not going to quite work in business, I'm not going to put massive action, because I'm going to save a reserve tank in case it goes wrong. I got a B plan.
Yeah.
Do you remember that movie Bad Boys with what's his name? Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. You remember that part when they was pinned down and they were getting shot all the heck, and they were being shot up and they didn't know what to do? And one of them hollered to the other one and said, hey, look, what's plan B? Let's go to plan B. What's plan B? And the guy said, what's plan B? He said, I don't know, but plan A ain't working. So we got to shift. We got to pivot appearance. That's how you do. If you don't have certainty, and if you don't believe in your heart that it's not going to work, you're not going to put forth a massive action to get the result. So when I do everything, I put that in place. I got the potential because I did the work. I did the stuff. So the potential, I can't get no more potential. I know all I know.
Exactly.
So I have to do more massive action. And the massive action comes from my belief and my certainty in the task at hand.
Ooh, that's so good. Man, that is so good. That is so good. If we could just get that point, that message out, and people just really stop and let it resonate with them. It's your mind. It's what's in your it's your mind. And what you said, you will stop yourself dead in your tracks if you don't have that full belief. I was saying that's like a prenup. You know what I'm saying? That's like you're going into awesome. I'm going into this entrepreneurship, this relationship. I'm going in with a prenup because, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going in, huh?
I wish I could sing and shout, because that's a sing and shout moment there.
Right? Like, see, we stay till death do us part, or two. You know, we still got ink wet on our prenup agreement before we go in. Because I don't know.
And that belief is all right there.
Yeah.
And that's belief. Because if you with relationships, make relationships, do I really want to be with this person? Do I really like this person? Is this person really for me? Well, I'm gonna give 6 months and I'll see.
Exactly.
You've already set yourself up a failure. Hey, finances are all, you already set yourself up a failure.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It was something that you just said about that. I'm like, man, that is so, oh my goodness. Oh, The Art of War, one of my favorite books, The Art of War. It's like when you know that you know, like the programs that it's just like I said, it feels so good now because the programs that we have designed, and we call this the Smart Money Circle. And the programs that we have designed, we've already vetted them out and they're working. And people are making money. So when you know that you're in the right lane, you go and you give it all you have. One of my favorite motivational speakers now, amongst the greats is Eric Thomas. He is so, I mean, he has such a fiery punch about grit, about coming from nothing and going to something and what it takes to do that. And that's the art of war, the mindset. And that's what, people don't really understand sometimes my way of thinking, but it's the art of war thinking. It's that, because I'm a cleric personality. I'm a cleric melancholy, but cleric is my predominant. But it's the art of war. When I get into something and I commit to it, I'm burning my boat. Because there is no going back. I'm taking over this territory. Whether I have to take over this territory by myself, I do it. And whatever I have to do it, and I have the faith in to do that, So that's what I mean about, and I think that's what's missing from relationships. Because it's like that, it's like the way that people used to love when they were, I always say back in the day, what I saw my mother and father do. It was no going back. It was like, we're going to sit here and fight this out. It was no, I'm about to get in my car and drive away. No, it was, I might go in the other room till I stop breathing fire, but now I'm going to come back. And what's going to help us to get to the next level? It's not about being right. And I think that's where things falter now, is because it's about being right. It's that big ego thing. Everybody's on that trip. It's like, how do you get success? How do you build successful relationships, partnerships, or anything? If it's not about the whole, if it's the me, fi, me thing, everything is about me. It's not about, it's about the whole. And that's where, that's where I think we get success in relationships, in our finances, in anything that we want to accomplish. So tell your students I said thank you. They just tore this podcast up.
But let me get this last point in, so I will have everything I plan to do from the beginning. The next part of this thing is, when you're going from corporate to entrepreneurship, and this talks about dollars and cents and value, because the more value you are to a situation, the more money or the more return or the more profit you get out of it. So everything is value driven. That experience, value driven experience. There's 4 levels of value that I teach in my BCI class. And the 4 levels of value are simple. The first level is implementation. That means you're the worker, you're the frontline worker, you're the person taking somebody to order at McDonald's, or you're the person at dry cleaners that take the clothes in. You're gonna make the least amount of money at that level, because that level is designed as the lower level. That's entry level into value. If that's the level you're seeking, then everything you do is in that level. The next level is unification. That's a manager. You're managing something. You're taking resources and you're rolling over and you're managing those resources. So that's the second level. You make the first level, the first level is minimum wage, like $35,000, maybe $40,000 on a good day. That's what a person at first level implementation makes. A manager or unification level, you make anywhere from $50,000 up to $85,000 based on what you manage. If you manage a Subway, maybe you're making maybe $50,000, $40,000. If you're managing a Longhorn, you might be making $80,000, $85,000. Or if you're managing a marketing firm, it's that difference there. Mm-hmm. The third level, and this is the level that I teach BCI, and the third level is a communicator. Mm-hmm. The third level is you're using your mind, your mouth, your voice. You're influencing people. Mm-hmm. And that level, that level, you can make up to $1 million. It's basic up to $1 million on that level. And that's the level that I'm trying to get my students to see. When you said something in the podcast, you said taking something and taking nothing and making something out of it. This is that level where you're taking something that's never wasn't created and you're recreating it and you're selling it and you're influencing the world with it. That's the third level. And that's what I'm trying to get my students into that. And that project I was telling you about, my student, she's doing this reset to healthy relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I heard her story first when you told it back when you had one of your meetings, and I was attending one of your company meetings in Detroit, and you mm-hmm. told us that you had the passion for domestic violence and all that, and you mm-hmm. kind of shared a part of your story as a message to your corporate office people.
Right.
I heard then the first time. Mm-hmm. When we had in my BCI, we have a series of lessons we teach, and in one lesson we teach story, hook, and CTA, call to action. Mm-hmm. So she told her story. Her story reminded me of your story. Mm-hmm. So as I've heard this before, I said, this is powerful. I said, we have to take your story and help people with it, because your story is something that is needed. You remember that the song Betty Wright made, this first song, she was talking about her relationship the first time with a man, and her mama said, no, you're not going to sing that song.
And that song hit. Yeah. Betty Wright.
You're not going to sing that song, and producer snuck it right in anyway.
Betty Wright.
That's the same thing we're doing with this. She gave her story, and she don't want to tell the world, but we snuck it in there anyway. She gonna tell the world her story. So that's where we are with her story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that level. That's the third level of communication. Now the final level is imagination, imaginators. This is the Walt Disneys, the Oprahs, the Steven Spielberg, and these guys are unlimited what they can make because they change people's reality.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm just trying to get my people to that third level, where they can make up to me. So that's where I'm at. So that's I'm gonna end with that. That's where BCI, that's what we're teaching in my program. And that's our goal. All right.
That's amazing. No, that's amazing. That's awesome. That is absolutely, that's absolutely amazing. Like you said, the story, because people see and they relate to when it's realistic and it's authentic. Mm-hmm. And people just know. I mean, I say people know it by the spirit of it. You can feel it when you can feel it. Just like again, I go back to the daddy-daughter dynamic when we were the 13 co-authors that actually put their stories on the line. And when I was asked to be a part of that project, mm-hmm. It kind of scared the bejeebies out of me, to be honest, because it was just really digging deep and talking about some things that sometimes you bury, but it was a healing experience for me. It was I could feel you feel the healing, you feel that lift. Of course, we all cried and let it out, and the funny thing is that one of the co-authors I brought her to the table as the therapist and didn't know she had a daddy-daughter dynamic story to tell as well. So she added even more rich value. So I definitely love collaborations, and this that we're doing now, it's a work of love, because the programs that we have actually bring funding to the ladies that are going through domestic violence or that have gone through domestic violence. We have an event coming up in December, where the money, the proceeds are actually going to, a family, grandchildren and stuff that lost their mom. So they lost the mom, and she had grandchildren, lost the mom to domestic violence. And, just want people to really, really, I want everything that I went through in domestic violence to not be in vain, to be able to not just tell somebody or show, to not just tell them what to do, but to actually bring rich resources to say, I understand part of the reason why a lot of women don't leave is because of finances. They don't know that they can make it on their own and don't know how they're going to generate it. So to have those steps in place to say, you know what? I walked away from everything, but $5.35 in my pocket and started over. And if I can go from there to becoming a best-selling author, anybody can do it.
Isn't God
no different than anybody else all the time.
Isn't God good?
All the time.
No
we
matter
have
what
such a ball. Go ahead. We have such a ball when we come together, and I know the people see it because, we get crazy amount of views when you're on. So, definitely you have an open invitation to come back. I want to invite some of your students. The stories that you tell and experiences as far as, getting to like what you just said about getting to the story. And, when we open ourselves up and be vulnerable, it helps a lot of people. I get I get the feedback that, wow, that was awesome. So do you have any closing remarks, sir? Because I think your students are going to be proud today. You checked all the boxes.
Thank you. No, it's just that I want to commend you and ask you to continue being a blessing to others, because when you're blessed, you can be a blessing. So my prayers are that you continue to be blessed so you can bless others. That's it for me.
Thank you.
To God be glory.
Thank you. God be the glory, and I appreciate you. Thank you. So you have it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. Somebody needs to hear the stories. Alrighty, y'all stay fearless. Don't forget, listen, learn, and leverage the information. Bye for now.